All right, looks like we're good to go. I am. Sound is on, chat is up, light is green, trap is clean. For those of you who recognize that reference. Welcome. I am Don Higgins. This is my illustration live stream. I've been doing it for over a year now. I started in the middle of at the beginning of the pandemic in March of 2020 and decided to keep going with it. As I say, get the credentials out of the way first. I am art director for FASA Games. I'm involved with the 1879 and the Earth Dawn line a little bit. I do the web comics for Earth Dawn in the Champions Challenge, and the webcomic for Hey Penny Pie, which is under 1879. I write and illustrate those two webcomic graphic novels. I'm involved with the new game that is been announced, the title of the game system called Etherstream, also at FASA. I'm involved with that and art directing with that. Lots of fun, and that's all I can really talk about that one. But I'm involved with it, and there's more news coming this coming Sunday on that one. So watch for that. That's going to be interesting. We'll have some announcements on what's going on with that for the Sunday announcement coming soon. So with that in mind, if you almost forgot. I gotta give my shout out. It's gonna work one of these times. It's gonna work. Shout out to Jason Momoa. If you're out there, love to have you in. There's a pint Guinness waiting for you. At least one waiting for you. Why? Because somebody asked me once if there was anybody I could draw, have come into the studio, sit down, and I could draw them, and we can talk art and creativity and shoot the breeze with. Who would it be? And I'm like, one guy that came immediately to mind, because it seems like he has a lot of fun no matter where he goes, no matter what the situation, he makes the best of it and has a lot of fun when he's there. Jason Momoa. So, Jason Momoa, beer waiting for you. Love to sit and draw your picture and talk art. So, that in mind, now that that's out of the way, I don't know if it's ever going to work, but hey, why not? So, having that. As I said earlier in the announcement on what I was going to discuss today, we're going to talk profile and how the silhouette is, how it can affect the introduction of a character. Let's get to that. Right. So, I'm on the right layer. I've got my pencil. I've got everything else. Let's get on the right screen so you can see what I'm working on. There's my toned paper that I like to work with when I'm working digitally. I like to put a toned paper down first, mainly because so it's not bright, shining white in my eyes. Getting old sucks. I work on white paper when I'm sketching out in the world and what have you. I do carry some toned paper, but I like to work on toned paper again, so it's easier on the eye. But if I know I'm going to be working on something that I need to scan, I work with white paper. So, as I say, I'm working on a not charcoal. Wow, I'm working on a Stratmar toned paper background. I've scanned it in so that I can work digitally on it with my Cintiq Pro 24. So let's get started. As I say, a profile, when doing something like this up, why is a profile a better system than working with just a head-on shot? Now, when you're thinking of the silhouette and you start, what's going on? Got that. There we are. All right. When you start with a head-on shot, And I start with my egg. No matter what the angle, as far as up, down, left, right, I mean, if I do this, he's looking down. If all you're worried about is this, if all you're worried about is this shape, not dramatic at all, not going to introduce anything, not going to say anything about the guy in just a quick glance silhouette. It's up, it's down, it's nothing, it's still the egg. If it were absolute black, you wouldn't see anything. Now, once you put in, like, for example, if I put in the ridge of his eye, that would tell a lot. Even more dramatic, get the eyebrows in there. That tells a lot. But you have to put all that information in before you see any of the emotion, before you see anything about this guy. Even the head-on shot of Darth Maul. If you did this, if you were thinking about Darth Maul, if all you could see was the outline, all you'd see is an egg with some pointy parts on it. You wouldn't see, until you got into the rest of this information, any emotion, any information about what this character is. If all you saw was a silhouette, all you'd see a potato with eyes on it. For example, let me show you what I mean about that. It's nothing. Now, let's go back. Get rid of some of this stuff. All this extra. Come on, cooperate. Oh, fine, we'll do it this way. Okay, now I got rid of that. Now we'll go back to this. Okay, now again we start with the egg. Bring that down. Now, interesting thing about profiles. When you're drawing the head, it's not one egg, it's two. So already it's something interesting. Because you've got to get both of these in. Why? Why do you think? Huh. Okay, Kayla. Thank you, I guess. Okay, so there's two. Why? Because that's the base of the skull. That's where the neck connects. And then you start thinking about how to make this more interesting. Now already it's more interesting than just a headshot, because there's more things going on. Now, you think about putting in the brow, And where the ear goes, let's fix that. Jaw's going to do that now. Bring it forward. Half mark. There we go. Now, nose area. Mouth. Okay, that silhouette already tells me it's male. Why? Why? Well, let's put it this way. That ridge of that brow protrudes. The nose has a level nostril. The lips have a certain shape to them. The chin comes down, squares off, comes up, and is not a dramatic angle. This guy is a guy. And then you can put in the Adam's apple if you want. Not necessary, it's already a guy by some of these markers. Now, let's say I wanted to do this as a girl. Profile of a girl. How is it different? Well, let's take this information and we're going to move it over to the side. And let's say I wanted to draw a female profile. And go with that, and there. Nope, wrong. There we go. So again, we start with the egg. And then the second egg. And bring this down. Now, the markers. Okay, I'm going to make the half mark here for the jawline. I know that this comes down like this. Base of the skull. No major difference yet. But see this ridge here? That comes back a little bit when you're working. Now, again, don't get me for generalization. On average, when drawing a female profile, these are the rules that you follow when you're attempting to draw a female profile. That's not to say that's a given for all girls and all women. No. No. I learned that lesson well. I never said that again. It didn't come out of my mouth this time. That is a generalization. On average, if you're looking for markers on how to draw male, female types of things. So, again, still got that half mark. So, the ridge of the brow is softer. Comes, quit hitting that button. All right, and the nose comes out. And this area here has a more pronounced angle. The nostril is down lower. These are the markers this has a more curved. The lips are fuller on average. This little under the lip is smaller. The chin is rounder, doesn't stick out as far. The angle is more dramatic, higher. And you've got the eye in here. The ear. Male and female profiles. Again, these are guidelines. You can soften some of these lines up and get rid of some of them, but because guidelines, I love to say this, and I keep saying it every live stream I do it, guidelines are not written in stone. Mm-mm. They're there to guide you to find the right line. Draw them light, draw them clean, draw as many as you need. There's all kinds of line work here. Because I'm going to go back and I'm going to fix it. I'm going to change it. I'm going to find the one that works best. But I'm just getting a general feel for where things are. See how that nose here curves up as opposed to down. The lip area is fuller. On average. That's how I set it up, that male versus female. Forgive me. It's summertime. Oh, by the way, thank you for all the birthday well wishes last week. It was awesome. I enjoyed seeing everybody chiming in, and I appreciate the well wishes. Turned 56. I don't feel 56. There are days I feel 102, but on average, I still feel like a kid. And that's why I love art, because I get to still feel like a kid, because I get to play games and draw pictures for a living. That's great. Anyway, so this is male-female setting up the profile. It's more interesting than a straight-on shot. It allows you to do more to introduce a character immediately. If all you could see was in an immediate glance, there are markers here. Oh, that's a female face. Oh, that's a male face. Now let's talk about emotion. Let's say that I wanted to draw something, a character who's aloof, lofty. Even in my introduction of what I want to draw, I've already started doing it. Do that if it helps. It helps me. I'm a ham from way back, so, oh yeah. I act it out. I think about what I want to draw, and I'm like, okay, I want a guy who's very, Grand Moff Tarkin. What a guy. There are several shots of him in profile that say it all about him. For example, let's see, kind of a Grand Moff Tarkin kind of guy. I'm gonna set up my guidelines. And this is a guy who spends a lot of time looking down his nose at people. That says a lot about his aloofness, because when you see him, the angle of his face is up. So my setup is automatically going to do that. And oh man, he had a nose. I'm going to turn my Cintiq here a little bit. I'm just thinking about his silhouette. He's got this I want him to have that kind of a look to him. I achieved that in his silhouette. Guidelines shift. I'm not working from any reference. I'm just getting the feel. I'm not trying to draw Grand Moff Tarkin. I'm just trying to have that feel. See how that profile just kind of, my, yes, isn't that lovely? What's the line that he says? Leia walks in and says, Tarkin, Governor Tarkin, I thought I recognized your foul stench, blah, 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 blah. And he just kind of looks at her down his nose at her, charming to the last. Yeah! I wanted to portray that face, that emotion, in profile. And it's all about the angle. It's up and looking down. Up, looking down. Yeah. I mean, that's. Look at all my guidelines. No, that's just a sketch. That's just to get the emotion down. But the first silhouette has to say it all. That pompous and charming to the last. That's what I was trying to achieve, and what I meant by how the silhouette can affect the introduction of a character immediately. Get the right angle, get the right profile, and you introduce a character immediately. How else? What else? What else? What else? Wow, I'm getting comments today. Wow, I've never fully noticed these differences between male and female profiles. Very cool. Thank you. That's. It's very important to recognize these things. It'll help your drawing. If you can get the guidelines down with the understandings of these basics, I can't emphasize enough the importance of remembering and learning the basics. Years ago, I got to go to Amherst, Mass. A summer program that they did, IMC, which is an Illustrator's Master's class. I got to work with some really fantastic artists. I can never say her name correctly. I apologize. Rebecca. I can never say her name right. Rebecca runs it. But also there is Donato Giancola, Dan DeSantos, Greg Manchus, Scott Fisher, or Scott? Yes, Scott Fisher. They run the thing. But one of the things, the first time I went, I got a chance to go a couple of times, but the first time I went, an artist, fantastic illustrator, Greg Manchus, asked me, okay, he was my mentor that year, he says, what's your big takeaway from being here? And I said, not certification, what did I say? Getting old, can't say words. Reinforcement, that's the word. Reinforcement of the basics. Things that I should have already known, that I had lost track of over the years. And by doing the IMC and them reinforcing the importance of the basics, everything came into shape. Everything took hold. And I'm like, wow. And my illustration just went and took off again. And reinvigorated, reinforced, rejuvenated. It was great. And if you get a chance to do something like that, I fully recommend it. Even if you're a practicing artist and working and so forth, every now and again, just go to a class. Reinforce your basics. Things that you, oh yeah, I remember that. Hey, that'll help on what I'm working on back at the studio. My point exactly. So, now, I've got this. I'm going to finish this guy. But I'm going to add something here. Yeah, get the basic shape of what I want. Don't want him touching. think I do. No, I don't think I want that. I was going to do that hand thing, the whole thing, but I don't like it. And you know what? Add the shoulders in here. One of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick a section. And I'm going to get rid of some of this here. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to change my angle just a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. I like that better. Now I'm going to reduce the opacity of this, because I just want it to be my guidelines. And again, the guidelines are important to keep, but not necessarily go 100% by. Years ago, I had the opportunity to go to the Boston Museum of Fine Art, and while I was there, I luckily caught the Da Vinci exposition while I was there, a bunch of the Da Vinci sketches. And when you look at artists today, a lot of the artists today get rid of their guidelines, and it's just the drawing. Now, these are the Da Vinci sketches. Now, I'm sure final drawings, a lot of the information got taken away, but a lot of the guidelines got taken away. But what I'm noticing in these sketches is that all of the original guidelines are still there. They were important to him. He needed to have them there to know this one was wrong, this one is right. And knowing the difference between the two was for him and his sketching. So he left them in, and he left them on the paper, and he left for the world to see later on in his life. Now, that's important. So, from that point on in my drawing, when I'm sketching, I don't come back with an eraser and get rid of the guidelines if I like the sketch. No, leave them in. They're important. They were part of the process. And if they were good enough for Da Vinci, they're good enough for me, and they're good enough for you. So there. Anyway, so here's this information. You know what? I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm going to do something on it that I think, this is going to be interesting. That's what I want to do. Give him something a little bit more interesting to do here. I'm gonna play with this guy a little bit. He's not human. Okay, I've done that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with him a little bit more. Form, I'm going to scale him. No, no. Okay. Still got the look that I wanted on him. But now I've done some stuff. I'm going to exaggerate some stuff. Interesting. Okay, that gives me what I want. Now I'm going to take him, all my guidelines on there, and I'm going to start playing with the lines here. Because it's 2:38, I want to be done in about an hour with this guy. Started with the basic. Got a human form. No. Got ahead of myself. There we go. Now. Alright, I'm on this, I'm on this. Alright, now then. Get my line work in. Alright. Playing with this guy's features. Excuse me. Still keeping on watch on the angles of everything so that the emotion stays true to the original idea, and that's that high purpose and pompous feel. looking down, definitely. Some jowl. Some age. And if you noticed something to this guy, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff here. Hang on a second. Bring that down. Fix some of these things weren't quite right. That's better. There we go. Very nice, very nice. And this guy is going to have, instead of hair, he is going to have tentacles. Why? I do not know, but it looked, in my mind's eye, like it might be appropriate to do so. So I'm doing it. This is my guy. I can do whatever I want with him. Alright, give him this information here, here, that's it. Yeah. This guy's got to have one of these. Again, the connection on this is kind of important. Still going to keep this shoulder line, collar line, bulbous. It's on an octopus. Keep that information. This is all interesting. And do this. pieces of information. Now, again, if I were trying to do this as a final, I would take a lot more time with the information that's going to go in here. But right now, this is a quick sketch. This is get the idea down onto paper. And there's some things that I want to do here, because this isn't pronounced enough. So let's go back to this. And back to that. We're going to give this some kind of a hair feel, I guess. It comes back this way. The tentacles are still there and important. I like this guy. He's just got something to him. All right. Now let's see about shading him. Just gotta bring this back down. Oh, wow. Gonna change one thing here. Nope, 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 wrong thing. Okay, and we're gonna change that line to this. That line to that. There we go. How's that for a character kill? I'm gonna give him just this sweeping because there's hair there. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and it's just that now. See, if I got rid of all the guidelines, it's boring. Put the guidelines back in. Okay, now first things first. Let's do that. I'm gonna nope. bring that back down a little bit more. Up just a hair. Yes. Now see how the silhouette expanded by adding all the tentacles and stuff? A lot more interesting. Straight on, it might have just looked, if that all filled in with black, that might have just looked like hair. But the little tentacle things are important when you consider everything that's got to go into this piece. And again, why did I put the tentacles in? I don't know. I'm playing. This is fun stuff. No. There we go. Anybody's got any questions, feel free to chime in. Unfortunately, I can't answer a phone call right now. Go. If you've got a question, chime in on the chat. I will answer that. I do have my sound on, right, guys? I haven't been talking all this time and nobody's got any sound out, right? All right. Open this up a little bit. See how that helps. No. Too much. Bring that opacity down even farther. There we go. How do I go about shading the different divots in the face? Well, first off, I try and decide where the light is going to be coming from. And usually, on average for me, it's in the upper right corner of the drawing is where I base it. If I'm just, it's just habit where I put it. And then it's learned experience, honestly. It's how do you know how far in something is? And that's by watching. Draw what you see. I've seen this. I've seen that look. So this kind of stuff happens. So I know the framework. If I don't know, and I need to have an exact, I work from reference. So all these divots in the faces that you're talking about, as far as where the cheekbone is, where the eye sits, how the eye sits, that's all learned information. I hope that answers your question. I have chimed on many times about draw what you see, not what you know. But when you're making stuff up, who's to say what you know and what you've seen? The whole point of my, I guess for lack of a better term, title, as far as draw what you see, not what you know, is about being able to see dragons. Now, do I see actual dragons? No. But I've seen enough lizards and enough bats to know how to put them together. And you build. As far as shading, how do you shade something like this? You build. Start light, work up. And then we're going to bring that down. Bring that up. Now, let's talk about some of this other stuff in here. into some textures here. So I can fill this stuff in textures. Okay, and see if that does what I want it to do. Bring it down. Yeah, different textures is going to allow me to do different things. See how I've kept that roundness to it? Build up several times over. Okay. Now let's put another brush here. And building up on it. Remember, I've got to come back and do my highlights. Put hair in. some of this stuff here. Clean some of this stuff up. He's really starting to come together. Some places that are lacking, so no, what I want to do. No. There. Some speckle and some interesting stuff to it. Put a couple of the same kind of stuff on here. Building. Okay, now then, let's... What's that going to do? That's going to do something interesting. Let's do that. No, that's better. Just losing information in here. There we go. Right. Now, I'm going to go in here with my white color. And I'm going to hit with a nice brush. Interesting. Some white highlights on here. I think I'm going to give him a nice black uniform. Up. Interesting. Now I'm going to go in with my pencil here again. And let's do this. Darken up some of these lines. Clean some of these lines up. Okay, now what I'm going to do is this. cleaning all the stuff that I can in the time allotted. This is one of those pieces that I want more time on because he's coming out really cool. Just add all these little pieces of information to make it a little more oomph. Adding little bits of business onto this. Now I'm going to go down and add hair. Do the right brush. And come on. No more questions. and hit some black on this. There we go. Up some of this so that we can do things like that. That is an interesting character. Now let's go back and do some things here. Nice and thin and white and top. Nope. Let's try that. Nope. That's the one. That's the ticket. Let's hit this with black. Very interesting. Now, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer behind everything. And let's see what this does. No, not what I want. lot of you right now are going, what are you doing? You've messed it up. Nah, not yet. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, hit that with white. No. Back with this. Right. And then I'm going to hit this with... Come on, where are you? Boom, boom. And now... Now we're going to go to this layer, and we're going to hit the magic wand. See how it goes all around all that stuff? And we're going to hit select inverse. And we're going to go back to this background layer, and we're going to hit delete. Now, let's hit some of this stuff. Get some of this taken care of. Reinforce some of this stuff. Now, just to finish it off, There we go. How about that? Hmm? There we go. There is an interesting character. I don't know who that is. But it's different. So I guess all I've got left to do on this one is back up here. No, I don't like where that is. Here we go. How's that? For a profile. That adds something to the introduction of a character. Is that cool? I can't tell whether that's grandma or grandpa. That's better. You need to bring that jawline down. That helped. Definitely. Got ahead of myself. Now let's hit Some of this. Got cocky. There you go. He's interesting. That's more he than it was before. And I'm going to hit a couple of these things like this. Where are you? There you go. There you go. Ah, that's why. There we go. Yeah. Little nostril hair, ear hair. Adding little. I need to stop. This is where I need to stop, guys. All right. One more thing. One more thing. Yeah, buddy. Usually where I make the mistake. One more thing. Yeah. And there that is. Okay, I'm gonna call it. I better call it before I mess it up. All right. So, once again, thanks to everybody who makes this possible. Mostly my art director, Tony. Hi, yeah. Tony. What do you think of that?
Interesting. Part human with part octopus.
Uh-huh.
A different version of Cthulhu-ish?
Kind of Cthulhu-ish. Male or female? What do you think?
She strikes me as female.
Why is that? Is it this the bulb in the back, like her hair is up?
Kind of, but also her face.
Because? I mean, I tried to bring the jawline down, or is it that the cheek is so pronounced, or the upturn of the nose?
All of it.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of lost it somewhere in there, guys. The whole point of this was to get the right emotion into it, but or to introduce the character but when I went for the upturn and the down the nose, all the features that make it male kind of got lost. But it's an interesting character. So
It doesn't look bad.
no, it doesn't look bad. But if I were trying to do something male, I would have to go back in and try it again. But it's a nice piece.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could say that's male and very skinny, but
Yeah.
I'd be stretching the imagination.
The other thing is that the Adam's apple is hidden.
That is another marker. That's why she's my art director. She catches this kind of stuff.
I do. But I've seen old fogies like that, so.
Mm-hmm.
Typically female.
Typically, yeah, and they, it's a McGonagall thing. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't put it that way.
Anyway, this is the piece. Thanks for dropping by today. To my friends in the community, happy Pride Month. Hope everything is a good month for you and the rest of the year too. So with that, I'm going to sign off, whatever. Again, as just as a reminder, Jason Momoa, shout out if you're out there, coming. Hey, pint, waiting for you. Be kind to each other. Be patient with each other. Draw what you see, not what you know. I draw dragons. Why don't you? Thanks for coming by.